I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars. We talked some while ago about me.
Oh, where's this going?
It's a fascinating topic, I think you'll agree.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Books will be written.
Oh,
yeah, they'll be
statues erected.
steady.
Yes. Easy. Not like that. We talked specifically about my changing automotive needs.
Yeah, that was a while back, wasn't it?
It was a while back when I sold my Tesla Model S, for those that don't remember. Well, we went through a list of possible choices of replacement vehicles at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody seemed to have an opinion on the matter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we ended up with, we whittled down a list.
Yes.
Now, I never actually made that purchase. So time has moved on here.
Mm-hmm.
Requirements, budget, it's all very dynamic, isn't it? In these uncertain times.
It's all over the bloody place.
All over the shop. Yes, exactly.
What you're trying to say is you've got to make a decision, and it doesn't involve any of the lists you came up with before.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very drawing board. That was very precise for you. You really honed in on the nub of the crux there. Yes, that's very good. Yeah. The never mind. Don't worry about it. Yeah, the list we went through before has proved budgetarily challenging, and we now find ourselves in a position of needing a family vehicle that both myself and my good lady can operate without too much stress and bother. We, at this present time, do not need two vehicles. That is not uncommon at the moment. I think a lot of people have dropped down to one vehicle from two.
That's happened.
The way it has happened a lot, yes, and it's causing used car dealers no end of strife at the moment because they can't get any stock. But car sales generally are down. I think a lot of people have changed their relationship with their vehicles.
They have. And prices have dictated the fact that people just don't want to buy them.
Well, absolutely. I mean, prices at the moment are sky high. So it's not the best time to be buying. But our second vehicle, which has much been mentioned on this channel, our Fiesta ST3, has now also departed. So
definitely need one.
Definitely need a vehicle. I'm presently kept mobile through the kindness of our friend Phil, who has kindly loaned me his Ford Puma, which is a cracking little fellow.
That's good stuff.
Very much enjoying that, but at some point I'm going to have to give that back, or potentially give him some money for it, whichever way that works out. But that's not currently on the purchasing list.
No, you need something that will do everything.
To be honest, yes.
Right, go on then.
Too small.
Criteria.
Criteria are: we don't want to spend the earth on this because it is only a stopgap. In an absolute ideal world, we'd still have a Tesla, but times are not right for that at the moment. So we don't want to spend the earth on it. It needs to be reasonably practical for a family of three, and the occasional need to carry stuff around. So it needs to be reasonably practical, reasonably comfortable, reasonably reliable as far as any cheap car can be. And I don't want a crap hole.
Right.
Not to put too fine a point on it.
That's nothing French then.
No, that is out. Yes. Right. No, I stand firm on that point.
Okay.
Interesting Citroens notwithstanding.
Reliability goes out the window at that point.
Yeah, it really does.
Ticks many other boxes, but
car goes up, car goes down. and all that stuff.
All
We
that
don't want any of that. No.
very rarely goes forward.
Yes, and once down, often stays down.
Mm.
Yes, so all of that. No, I think we'll give all that business a miss. So we're not looking for. We're not necessarily looking, for our previous categories of sort of weekend toy or anything like that. This
Yeah.
does need to be a daily for the family. Nothing too crazy price wise, as little as we can get away with, really. But nothing too crazy price wise. Something reliable, something practical. But because we are car guys, it can't just be any old thing.
No, it's not going to be a Hyundai Matrix, is it?
It's not.
No.
No, I'd rather get the bus. It's got to be something. It's got to be something that we like.
Yeah.
It can't just be any old chicken coop. So the list we had before featured a number of manufacturers which are still featured on my list. But I believe, just to recap, the number one on the list ended up being a Jaguar S-Type R.
That's right.
Well, the R has begun to go a bit silly price-wise. So that's not happening. Plus, running a supercharged V8 is probably, with fuel prices the way they are, it's
Not
probably
brilliant. Yeah, if it's your only car.
Yes, exactly. That's probably the same, really. Well, I think number two on the list was a E38 BMW 7 Series.
That's right.
That also, for the kind of budget that I'm looking at now, it's going to be rough. Nice ones, or ones you'd want, ones you'd even consider taking on, you're talking sort of 5, 6, 7 grand now.
Yeah.
And we're not prepared to spend that kind of money at the moment.
No, like you said, stopgap. There's no point in
It's a
dropping that
stopgap.
sort of cash.
It's a stopgap. In an ideal world, we'd be, leasing or whatever a Model 3, or the upcoming Model Y even. But that ain't
I won't
happening.
allow that, I'm afraid.
No, I know you won't. No, so it'd probably be a used Model S, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But because that's your best value if you want to get into a Tesla. There's a tip for you.
Top tip is all Quentin Wilson there.
Oh, I was all over that for a minute there. Yes, absolutely.
Put a private plate on it.
Yes, the neighbours will never know. You can palm that bugger around. Anyway, so yeah, used Model S is where it would be, but we're not spending that kind of money at the moment. So, and I know the consensus amongst some people that you had chinwags with about it was that I should just go and buy the BMW. That fact alone, actually, that is perhaps what most people would do, is enough to make me not want to do it. But because I don't want to do what most people would do, I've never wanted to do that. And if most people would go for the BMW, that is reason enough for me to not go for the BMW.
I don't think it was necessarily that. I think it was most people wanted you to go for it so that they could enjoy the stories.
You see, yeah. Well, anyway, it's not happening price-wise, so
no, that's fair.
That's departed for the moment, because the only ones you're getting for 1,500, £2,000 are in trouble.
Yeah. I saw one the other day, and it done big miles, but reasonably well looked after. So it was in a good state, cared for. But I don't know. It was 150, somewhere between 150 and 170. It was a number of that 1,000 miles, and
okay,
$6.5 grand.
Yeah, there you are. You see,
that was a 740.
Yes, I've got a feeling I might have seen the same car, actually.
But it was lovely. It was that blue, had the right wheels, lovely interior. Yeah, it was someone had clearly looked after it, but yeah, proper money.
Yeah, the price has gone, hasn't it? I've seen a 728, which obviously was the entry level engine wise, but that had been to the moon, and it had quite a lot of bits missing, and bits of trim, and it had no grille and things like that, and it had a list of issues. I mean, they were all dealable with, but nevertheless, a list of issues. That was on for 1,400 quid, but you just think, Oh, I don't know if I want a 1,400 quid 7 Series.
Yeah, that could be problems.
It's not going
Oh
to move,
dear.
is it?
No,
Yeah, you can't even speak.
I
No,
can't. No, I got all upset about that.
I'm so upset at the prospect of a 1,400 quid 7 Series.
Yeah, that's gonna ruin you, that isn't it?
That's the problem, isn't it? So you have to think ahead a little bit. So
Hmm.
at
So
the top of my list, and this list is in no particular order, and I'm expecting each one to be followed with quite a lot of discussion.
okay,
Top of my list, manufacturer-wise, at the moment is Volvo.
very good choice.
Now you're clearly going to be supportive of this particular area, yes. Now there are a number of choices here. Now I've been looking, as you know, for V70s for a while. That would probably be my top choice, although it's a little bit large for our requirements, and my good lady wouldn't be terribly delighted with huffing one of those around. However, V70, there are quite a few around.
Mm.
But, and I mentioned this to you the other day, the V70s particularly, although it is something that all Volvos seem to suffer from, is that ones of the sort of budget that we're talking about tend to be higher mileage and in worse condition than, say, other manufacturers that I might be considering. They do. A lot of them seem to have quite hard lives. The V70s, particularly.
Well, then they're just workhorses, aren't they?
They are just workhorses, and that's fine. And certainly the diesel ones seem to stand up to it.
Yeah,
There's quite a lot out there with quite high mileage. I've seen there's one I've spotted which is less than £800, but £795, which is possibly bringing the budget down a bit too low.
well, that's quite low for one of those. But
That is quite low. It's a 2001 2.4 SE. It's actually a petrol, this particular one.
right,
Now, I know the fuel consumption is nowhere near as good on the petrol as it is on the diesel.
this is true.
And I know you've told me in an ideal world it would be better to go for a 53 plate onwards because there were a number of improvements, and I have read that elsewhere. However, this is a 51 plate, so it's the earlier one. It's done 192,000 miles, but it's in quite poor condition cosmetically. A lot of dents and scuffs. The paint work is not best. Allow me to furnish you with a link as a sort of starting point.
Yeah, go on then.
Have a quick squeeze. Get
There it
that
is.
one. There it is.
Right. I mean, in all fairness, like you said, it is stopgap, and if it is just cosmetics, then well.
Yeah. It says it's the rare 7-seater model, which doesn't bother me, but I'm not interested in that particularly. But nevertheless, there it is.
It's low priced, and by the time you get rid of it, it's not really going to get much lower priced, is it?
I wouldn't have thought so. No, that's no, absolutely. But it does have. It's an earlier one, but it does have, full leather interior, heated seats, climate control, all the stuff,
All the bits and the bobs,
all the bits and the bobs that you would like.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's quite a nice color, even if some of the paint isn't there.
Yeah, there's a bit of roughness, but it's
bit of roughness, but we could probably work on that.
To be honest, sub £1,000 car, bit of roughness, we'll expect that. So that's fine.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
So that was one that I noticed. It's up in Reading, so it's not all the way away.
That's all right.
It is with a dealer by the look of it. MOT'd until April.
Okay.
Haven't done any research on that one. I haven't checked it. Looked at its MOT history or anything like that. But like you say, sub £1,000. I haven't seen many at that price.
That's becoming a rarer thing.
Yeah, it is. But it's the SE model, so it's going to have a reasonable level of stuff on it.
It'll have some toys. But yeah,
it'll have some bits and bobs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got some miles on it, but to be honest, that's not that far away from mine in terms of mileage. And
no, absolutely, it's not, is it? No, yours is about that. I mean, yours is a later one.
Yeah. So I've banged in more on mine.
Yes, I suppose you have actually. In some ways, yours is higher mileage, even if the number isn't. Yes, because yours is newer. Yes,
that's it. No, it's fine. Yeah, because mine's nearly 182 now. So
right, okay. So you're £10,000 away, 10,000 miles away from this one, but this one's 4 years older.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, like it says in the ad, it's not done many miles in recent years, or
no,
which is fair enough. I mean, that was mine. Well, in the past year, previous to that, that thing has been worked. I think my proudest one is I think I put 22,000 miles on it in 1 year.
Oh, you told me that. Yes, that is quite.
I was pleased with that.
That is pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. That is pretty cool. So there is, however, you'll be amazed, there is a cheaper one.
Got him.
There is a cheaper one. Now, this one is in cosmetically much better condition. But it would require a little further research. It'd be a little bit of a gamble. But there's that one. Now, this is a 52 plate.
Right.
It's a little bit newer. 2.4 diesel SE again. There aren't that many photographs, and the description, this is not with a dealer. This is a private sale. But this one,
okay.
It's slightly strangely worded advert, isn't it?
Yeah, what's 300 quid, and so far it seems to be the seat stitching's gone a bit.
Yeah. It says damaged driver seat. Well, the stitching's gone on one of the bolsters. I wouldn't call that a big issue. Needs one new wiper arm. Well, again, fine.
Yes, it does appear to be missing one.
New dashboard. Now, I suspect he doesn't mean dashboard. I suspect he means instrument panel.
You'd hope so.
I mean, you would hope so. I can't see anything particularly wrong with the dashboard, although it is suspiciously not shown in any of the photos.
We can sort of see the center console and some of the passenger side of it, and it seems to be there. Knows what he's done to the driver's bit.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I wonder whether he means not the whole dashboard. He means the instrument panel might have packed up. But again, I wouldn't have thought that was a massive issue.
No, I would assume that's just a bit of a almost plug and play, really.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm wondering whether you'd need someone to program mileage, possibly, but
possibly. Although I have seen a few advertised as having had a replacement dashboard and thus noting, or replacement instrument panel, and thus noting that the mileage isn't accurate anymore.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's another way of doing it. Yeah.
That's another way of doing it. I mean, if you've got the paper evidence, if you've got, MOT history would show what the mileage genuinely was.
Yeah, with it being online these days, you're probably all right, really.
Yeah, so I don't think that's a major issue. So I'm just wondering, because there's nothing. He's good tires, drives well, engine running well. Oh, one wing mirror case missing. Well, you're on eBay to sort that out, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to lose sleep over that.
I don't see anything there that would warrant it being that cheap. It's only done 150,000 miles.
Yeah, that seems fine.
So that one.
That's very strange.
That could be the bargain of the century, or
what would be interesting on that is I just did a quick look up. Because with a price like that, it's going to go one or two ways, isn't it? It's either going to get snapped up, or everyone's going to be incredibly hesitant about it.
Yeah,
which is fine, but it's quite interesting to see that the MOT expires at the end of this month.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It will be interesting to see whether that gets renewed.
Yes.
If it doesn't change hands.
Yeah, it doesn't say whether the car is currently in use. He said he's owned it for 6 years and it's been reliable. But it is awfully close to the end of its MOT. And the things he's listed there as being issues do not warrant that lower price.
No, you'd expect something a bit more mechanical to be wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I mean, most of what he's mentioned is kind of cosmetic. I mean, things like needing a new wiper arm and things. I mean, that does not warrant selling it for that much below market value.
No. That's all bolt-on bits and bobs.
Yeah, exactly. So
maybe it's someone without knowledge, perhaps.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps so. I mean, they've not written much of an advert, and they've not taken many pictures.
No. So,
so there you go. That's
definitely keep an eye on that one.
That's the cheapest two that I've found.
Right.
There are lots of others. I would, before we leave this particular website, like to draw your attention to this one.
Okay.
Now, this is a much later car. It's the same year as yours. In fact.
That's right.
In fact, it's very similar to yours. It's even the same color scheme.
Yes, it is. I'm flicking through now.
You flick through that one. It's a slightly odd spec, or slightly unusual spec, in that I've noticed it has front and rear parking sensors, yet it has no headlamp washers and it has no heated seats, which they all seem to have.
Yeah, they do tend to have that, but
but this one doesn't. But someone spec'd front and rear parking sensors over heated seats.
Was someone worried that they couldn't park the car?
Yeah, but weren't worried about keeping the bum warm. Which I thought was slightly odd. However, it does look quite tidy.
It does. It could do with the right old clean inside. That is grubby.
It is filthy. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It always amazing. This is a dealer as well.
A little louver and a bit of cloth inside wouldn't hurt, but
would it? But however, we can look past that. But generally looks in quite good order. Mileage isn't horrific for one of those.
No, it's about average, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, seems all right.
So that one caught my eye. More money, but in better shape to start with.
Yeah, it's not obscene money, though, is it? That's
no,
fine.
not at all. Not at all. No, it's kind of bob on where we want to be.
Just needs a bit of a clean, really.
Just needs some time spent on that, doesn't it? Really, to just bring it up a bit. Yeah.
They've gone for the garish wood option, which is nice.
Yes, I noticed that, including the what I'm presuming is an aftermarket cover on the steering wheel.
I really think it could well be, because I hope Volvo did not produce that.
So do I. I think that needs to come off unless there's a disaster underneath it.
Oh yeah, that could be hiding something really horrible.
Yeah,
that is horrible.
It is very cheap and nasty, isn't it? So there's a few choices.
There are plenty out there, aren't there?
There are. None of them local, unfortunately. And as I've said before, when you're only spending this kind of money, you do have to consider the cost of going and getting it.
That's it. You probably should have a sort of maximum radius in mind.
Yes, indeed. Or, I mean, a lot more dealers are delivering these days, to be fair. Since COVID, that's become much more of a thing. But
if it turns out to be a private one, that's out the question.
Private sale, it's not going to do that. Some dealers are offering delivery, but obviously at a price. Yeah. Prices vary enormously, from pence per mile to many pounds per mile. So it depends where it is, but its location at this price range does have to be considered.
Yeah, that's fair. But I suppose the market changes enough.
Yeah,
at the moment they're coming and going, so
they are.
Yeah.
So that's a brief look into V70. And there are some others which I can send you links to, but
that is firmly on the list.
That is a V70 is firmly on the list. I've also been looking at V50s.
Okay.
Now the V50 is a smaller car, but that's fine. I have only been looking at Volvo estates. I'm not really very interested in a Volvo saloon.
No, that's it. You might as well go practical. And you suggesting a V50 is not too shabby on the ideas. I mean, I didn't go for one myself because I have more of the small people than you do.
You do, you careless fool, you.
I know, reckless. Yes,
reckless. Yes.
So a bit more space does not hurt the cause for us.
No, absolutely. But for us, a 50 would work. Now, price-wise, they tend to be a little bit newer than the cars we've just been looking at. I've seen some 2009 to 2010 cars even within budget.
Okay.
But they are at that price not as plentiful as the 70 and tend to be more basic cars spec, trim and engine wise.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, they're the kind of mid-range option at the time, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely.
But there will be some out there with the proper engine. And
now, what would be the proper engine in the V50?
Going off knowledge, what were they, the 2.4 diesels? They got the 5 cylinders, didn't they?
It's available, I think. Yeah, most of them seem to have the 1.6 or the 1.9. The 1.6, I would have thought, would be a bit underpowered.
Is that the 1.6 diesels?
Yeah, the Drive E ones, which I have read to avoid.
They are. I've driven a couple of Drive E's, and they are awful.
Yes,
really bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to sort of destroy themselves and be useless, but they're just gutless.
Yeah. I have heard that very thing. That they are to be avoided. Yes,
I believe there might be a bit of lineage in there that's suggesting they could have a bit of French crossover on that.
Okay.
I think I'm not sure it's a direct lift, but I think there's something about that particular engine that could be a little bit French.
Okay. So, right. Okay, that's worth bearing in mind then, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, a lot of diesel cars are these days. If you scratch off all the silly stickers and go, "Yeah, it's Peugeot engine."
Yes, that's true. Yes, even the dear old Mini had a French engine for a while, didn't it? So yes,
worth noting. But yeah, no, the 5-cylinder ones, you're all right on that.
I've struggled to find as many that would be contenders in the V50.
Okay.
They are not as plentiful. They tend to be newer and therefore more expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose then perhaps they weren't there at the launch of the car.
No.
Maybe them thinking back to when it did come out, they were a big push for this. Everyone was doing the eco models, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Yeah, that's right.
So
so if you exclude those, there aren't as many to choose from.
So that's more shopping around that then.
More shopping around for the V50, if that were to be an option. I did find one which looked quite nice. Which you might as well just have a quick look at.
I'll have it.
It is not without issues. However,
there it is.
Get your gear around that.
Yeah, that's
the issues do seem to be cosmetic.
Again, at this price point, it just doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That one's quite a good spec. It's an SE Lux. which, as we know, delivers a few more of the niceties.
Yeah, you get the odd toy extra, but
You
yeah,
get
I
a few
mean,
bits extra, yeah.
there's some strange photos in there. Someone's not figured out focus, but there we go.
Yeah, someone struggled with the camera there, but
But if
it's
it,
yeah,
all right, yeah, we've got some broken bits
we got some
here and
broken
there.
bits. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But nothing you couldn't
Oh yeah.
sort out. Bit of eBaying, and you'd probably find some bits that you could improve that a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really give a toss about the broken bits on that. That could be remedied without too much headache. And
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's absolutely all stuff you could do at home. Yeah, indeed. Quite a nice color.
yeah, nice
It's
dark interior, which I know you'd prefer ultimately if you've got a choice in the matter.
yeah, mainly for my good lady, because light interiors do tend to give her the headaches on a long journey. It doesn't particularly bother me, but a black interior, I think, would be of choice. That's a more unusual thing on the V70. I've noticed by far the majority of them seem to have the lighter interior.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that is particularly, whether it's a Swedish thing, but
Well, I have to agree with it. It's a lovely place to sit.
oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
both
yeah,
the Jags I had cream interiors, but yeah,
V50
so
not too shabby, but much. It's going to be more shopping required because they aren't as plentiful in the spec
not
that you desire.
not going to be as plentiful. Now, before we move on from Ovlov,
Mm.
I have had a look at some V40s.
Now you know my opinion on these.
I know your opinion on these, and I think I might share that opinion. These tend to be a bit older, and the engine choices are not as good, not as attractive.
No, because a lot of these will have had the supposedly eco engines,
Yes.
like the the D2, for instance, which was quite a popular engine,
Yeah.
uh, which is firmly a PSA engine.
Right. Yes. There you go.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of French gubbins in that.
Yes.
So that's
Indeed.
nice.
That's lovely. That. Yeah.
The 1.6 petrols in them are actually Ford EcoBoost engines.
Ah, yes, because we're firmly in the Ford era with those, aren't we?
That's
Yes.
it, because these were
Indeed.
you think they've been around for ages, but I believe they were released in 2012.
Oh yeah, they do go back
But
quite a way.
that's
Yes.
it. They go back quite a way, but sometimes I think they go back further than they did. But they're not, because they share. You could almost say they've got the similar styling cues of the generation of V70 after the one that you're looking at.
Well,
And you go,
it depends which V40 you're looking at.
yeah, this is true, because the original ones, they do share styling cues, and you think, well, that V70 came out in about 2007, so I assume this
Yeah.
V40 did, but no, actually they're 5 years apart.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yes,
I've been looking at V40s as early as 2003.
really?
So the previous
Oh, the
V40.
previous ones. Oh, okay. So,
Yes.
that could be
The ones you were talking about, I think, are out of budget.
yeah, because I'm thinking the V40s are the hatchbacks. Those
No,
ones,
no, no. I'm talking about the estate, the
right?
previous V40.
Okay, because that
I
was.
wondered when we mentioned this the other day whether you'd picked up on the wrong one.
I might have done. Yeah, no, I think I did, because those ones were, yeah,
Hang on, let me send you a link so we're
that's fine.
absolutely
Yeah,
certain
get on
the
the
one we're
correct one,
talking about.
because the
Yes.
ones I'm thinking of are those later ones, the 2012 onwards, because I had them as courtesy cars.
You mentioned that, and I sort of took it at face value when we first mentioned it, and I thought about it later, and I thought, oh, I bet he means the later ones.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god, yeah, because that's the ones I've been slating. And but yeah,
Yes.
don't buy those.
No, I'm talking about the earlier ones.
Right.
So
Okay. So bear with me.
much
Allow my
like
Chrome to catch up.
the one. Yes, you let
I've
your
had more than
Chrome.
one tab open, and now the computer's saying, "Well, I would like my memory back."
Yes, you're working me too hard. I'm going to
Yes.
stop. Yes.
So
Okay.
right there we go. Yep. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with
That
you.
one.
Okay.
Yes, I mean not necessarily that one specifically, although it is quite interesting. But that shape of V40.
Okay, right. I'm with you. Yeah, we're
Yes,
on the
yes,
same
yes.
page. Yeah. I got
Yes.
stuck because I'm just bitter about the ones I had.
Yes,
Awful,
indeed.
awful
No,
cars.
you made a couple of comments that just made me think. Is he's talking about the later one? I think not the
Yeah.
earlier one,
No, I was talking about the
because they're
later one.
completely different cars.
They are completely
They're not
different.
even
Yeah.
the same shape.
No.
So
The hatchback ones can go away because they're just gutless and made of plastic inside.
no, not talking about hatchbacks. Talking about the estates.
That's fine. Yes, and now I'm on the correct generation. We're well away here.
Yes, very good.
Okay.
So there's quite a lot of those within budget because they tend to be a bit older.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as attractive. I don't think the interior is as nice as the 70s or the 50s. However,
But
nevertheless, it would tick a few boxes.
of course it would. Yeah. I can see that being. You still see them around quite a bit.
Oh, you do.
So
There's
that
loads around. There's one just up the road from us that has been outside the same house. I mean, not continually; it does move, but outside the same house for as long as we've lived up here. So, I mean, that clearly is working for whoever owns it.
that's it. Yeah, these seem to go on quite well. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit more on board with this now. I was worried when you said
Well, I
40.
thought you would be. I thought
Yeah.
you would be. There is one I've spotted, which actually is a little bit closer to home, and now
Mm-hmm.
my own browser has decided to
Oh, good. It's
stumble.
all going well.
One moment. Oh, here it is. It's done it. Yes. Now these I've noticed tend more often than not to be manual rather than automatic,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not a massive issue.
No, you can work with that.
I can work with that. Now this one is considerably cheaper and
Okay.
considerably closer to our present location.
Well, that helps enormously.
Mm.
So,
Get your face around that one.
right. Okay. There we go. So let's have a little skim through this one.
Now that one is actually quite tasty. There are a couple of little cosmetic issues, but nothing major, nothing that couldn't be improved quite cheaply.
No, that's
I
actually all
like the color. Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? Mileage is getting on, but it's not terrible. It's the 1.9 diesel
right.
SE trim level. All the headlamp washers going on there. I'd love it. It
No, that's okay.
I'm not bothered about those. As long as they're not stuck at a weird angle, I don't even mind if they don't work, to be honest. As long as they look all right, as long
Yeah.
as they're not all lopsided and, half hanging off like some of them are, I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
that does happen.
It
No,
does.
that's fine.
Yeah, that one is quite a strong contender, I think, especially as it's in Bristol.
We
So a
can work with that.
collection would be a lot more for a car of that price. A whiz up to Bristol is fine.
Oh yeah, you got
I'm
no issue with that.
I'm not going to Carlisle for a car that's less than £1,000.
No, that does seem a little pointless.
Yes, but for that sort of money, and says it's supplied with 12 months MOT, which is nice.
That's a bit of confidence. Well,
Well, it
from
is,
them
isn't it?
and for you. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yes, because it's at a dealer. So that one's quite interesting. I noticed the front grille has got some holes in it, but I bet you could pick one of those up for a few quid on eBay.
Oh, you just claim it's for better airflow at the moment, so that's fine.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, the driver's seat bolster is a bit worn, but again, that's
That's all right. Get your needle and thread out. Away you go.
Oh, we'll soon fill up that and get a bit of leather food on that. You could bring that back a bit, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Get that coloured back up a bit again. So back seats don't look like they've ever been even sat in.
Well,
so yeah, that one is quite a strong contender, and actually is about the same age or slightly newer than some of the V70s I've been looking at.
Okay. Yeah. They're in and around the same sort of bit, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I didn't know they were still making the 40 by this age, but they clearly were.
Yeah, it hung on in there, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think it was very popular. Because, like you said, you still see a lot of them around.
Yeah, they're still going strong, aren't they? So very good.
Now there is one more model of Volvo that I have had a brief look at, which is a very different proposition.
Okay.
And this is the last Volvo that we'll look at, but that is the C30.
I've never really had much to do with them. I've always just quite liked how they look.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's a 3-door hatch, which would not be my first choice, but it would certainly go down well with the good lady.
Yeah.
She's all over a 3-door hatch. They are quite distinctive looking, which I like. You don't see them every day.
No, not anymore.
No, bit more unusual. Again, we'll be talking a little bit more money because they're newer, but yeah, it's something I've looked at.
Yeah, that's worth going. And for me, like I said, I don't know much about them. I've never even had a go, but it's got a bit of racing heritage to it.
Oh, see, that'll pique your interest, won't
it? Yeah, Volvo built a touring car version of one for the Swedish Touring Car Championship
there
to
we
run
go.
on bioethanol.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
There you go. That's a
racing pedigree then.
Racing pedigree. Very
good.
Yeah, so I like a bit of that.
They're quite popular with the flexing and winding community, I'm told.
Oh, very, very good.
To coin a phrase you used recently, slammed and rimmed, yo.
Oh, okay, right, good.
They're all over that. Apparently, the C30 is really popular with the modding community and the sort of the young folk.
That's a strange thing. Oh, here you go.
Not that I'm in that community at all in any way, shape, or form. Let's be absolutely plain about that. But
yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but all right. Are they similar price point?
You can. It's available. Let me just see if I can locate one here.
Yes.
One moment. But yes, I have seen some within budget. And although I'm sending you exclusively links from Auto Trader, I'm not only looking on Auto Trader. It just happens to be the first tab that's open this evening. Yes, in fact, there's one here that's actually very tasty. It's an R design.
That means really uncomfortable bloody seats.
Yes. Thank you, Grandad.
They don't call me Grandad for nothing.
No, they don't, do they? You're all over that. Oh dear. Now we've got one later that is accused of having hard seats. We'll come back to that particular theme. But
it does.
But no, there are some available non-R design. In fact, Auto Trader has returned 13 cars within budget. So yeah,
they're certainly out there then.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, no, that is a contender price-wise. It's not as practical, clearly.
No, but you probably have a bit more fun without it being a ridiculous sports car or spine crusher.
Absolutely.
I can see.
I have considered that.
Yeah, I do like a bit of that.
That could work. I think that could work. Like I say, it's quite distinctive. You don't see them every day. I really like the looks. I suspect it's a bit of a Marmite car, but I really like it.
Yeah, I can see that being quite popular.
Someone's bothered, haven't they? That's what I like about it. Someone's clearly, but it's not just another 3-door hatch box. It's someone's put some effort into that.
That's right. Yeah, that there's design gone on.
Yes, lots of surfacing.
Yeah, very good indeed.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's an outside contender, but I approve.
Yeah, it is an outside contender. I think an estate would probably win it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I saw that they were within, well within budget,
Yeah.
and thought, oh yeah, that'd be a bit different.
Yeah. Never say never. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if one of those came up and it was sort of, right and in the right location, I could be persuaded.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
so that was as you can see, I've thought long and hard and from many angles about our Swedish option there.
Yeah, that's good. That is very good. So,
But my thinking is not exclusively Swedish.
okay, then go on. Take us to another brand.
The next thing I've been looking at, I have returned to the Blue Oval for our next two choices.
Go on.
Um, I've always been a bit of a Ford man, as you
Mm-hmm.
know. My first three cars were Fords. My father has always bought Fords, still does. I have a lot of affinity for Ford. And
Yep.
a car that we've mentioned often before, in fact, both of these cars we've mentioned often before, but one that I think could even perhaps be a little bit of an investment, would be a Mark One Focus.
It would be a solid choice because you're not going to get ruined on it. You're not going to lose money on that now.
Well, I think they're about kind of bottom at the moment.
I can't go much lower.
No, I don't think they can. And there are some quite tasty ones around. The mileage on them tends to not be as high as, say, the Volvos that we've been looking at. They're not treated as quite such a workhorse as a Volvo estate, which is understandable. And there's quite a few around. Let me furnish you with a link. I mean, there's quite a range in specification as there ever was with Ford, because you can go from the LX all the way up to the Gear X or even the ST.
Mm-hmm.
But let's have a quick squeezette here.
Yes, indeed.
Moment, if you will bear with me whilst I was that it? I mean, that one's quite tempting actually because it's a gear. It's a 1.6 gear,
Well, that's
and it's in Bristol. Yeah, that wasn't the one I was looking at, but actually, he's quite tasty.
that's all right then.
It's it's a 54 plate,
Mm-hmm.
5-door hatch. Of course, it was also available as a saloon and an estate. And get your get your peepers around that one.
Here I go. Oh yeah, I mean straight away, first impressions. It's in reasonably good order.
Yeah, absolutely, pretty solid. All the velour. Some of the gear models do have full leather, but that is unusual on the Foci. But that's sort of fairly typical of the sort of thing that I've come across. Yeah.
Like you say, not silly miles, not silly
No,
money.
no, not at all.
All well cared for.
Yeah, it seems to be, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Seems to be. I'm just trying to limit my search to Mark Ones because I'm getting lots of Mark Twos and Mark Threes within budget as well. But I think specifically with the Focus, I would be interested in going for a Mark One. As I said, almost as a little bit of an investment. Because I think they will go up in the next few years.
Yeah.
Because it was such a good car. That's what you sort of forget, that it was such a good car.
Yeah, it can't really not go up. Surely this.
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, a lot of people are now sort of, knowledgeable internet type people are starting to say, "Ooh, Mark One Focus if you want an investment." And a lot of the smart money, even Harry Metcalf has talked about this. A lot of the smart money in car buying for investment at the moment is buying mainstream stuff. They're not buying Ferraris and Lambos anymore. They're buying mainstream stuff because that's where the money is. This was the other one I'd found. This one was interesting. This was one of the run out special editions before it became the Mark II.
Right, let's have a look.
Have a look at that one. That one's very nice and really low mileage for the age.
Yeah, that is low, blimey.
Yeah, really low. It's in really nice shape, that one. It bizarrely doesn't have the heated windscreen, which I thought was standard fit on the Mark 1 Focus, but it apparently wasn't. But that's fine because Dawn can't stand the heated windscreen, so she can't not look at all the little elements in it.
Oh, I cannot help but love it. It's such a. It's a feature that should be on everything.
I've had 3 cars with a heated windscreen now because both Jags had it and my last Escort had it. And it is, you get out there in a frosty morning, there is nothing better than just pushing that. The Tesla, interestingly, didn't have it. But of course, the Tesla you could preheat from your app before you ever get out of bed, so it really wasn't an issue.
Yeah, it's less of a problem with that.
Had other more technical solutions to that issue. Yes.
No, that's fine. Lovely.
But that special edition one,
that
caught my eye, and I thought, well, if you're wanting for an investment, a rarer special edition, a slightly bigger engine in that one, it's the 1.8 16 valve.
Very good.
Which is going to be a little bit more peppy.
Yeah, definitely. But no, that's that.
But there were loads. I mean, there was one I found. I can't see it now, which was a gear, a late model gear that had absolutely everything. It even had parking sensors, which I didn't even know were an option on a Mark 1 Focus.
They were throwing all the bits at it by that point.
Full leather interior, 6 CD changer. It had everything. It had stuff on it I didn't even know was ever fitted to a Mark 1 Focus. Whoever ordered that new must have spent. Oh, yeah, I found it.
Very good, very good.
Yes, it's a 2003 gear. It's actually a turbo diesel. This one, which is a little bit more unusual in the Mark 1 Focus because the diesels did tend to be a little bit ugga dugga. Well, they did, didn't they?
I'm not disputing that at all.
Not debating that. No, yeah, but that one, in terms of equipment and comfort, was absolutely incredible. I mean, a Mark 1 Focus with a full leather interior is quite a rare thing.
Yep, that's not to be snubbed. Everyone's favourite, and they've kindly taken photographs of the tyres.
Yes, indeed,
to show you that every single corner has a different one on it,
different make. Yes,
and then a particular
that did not go unnoticed.
When you get to the final tyre, it's the Achilles.
It is. It is absolutely in one corner. Yes,
that's fine. They are consumable parts and can be changed easily.
The tyres, I'm not worried about. No, and the wheels themselves are in pretty good shape.
Not too shabby at all. No, I mean,
not too shabby at all.
In general, that is really quite nice, isn't it?
That one. I mean, in terms of equipment level, it's phenomenal for a Mark 1 Focus to have all of that kind of stuff on it. Yeah, I was very impressed. I did check the MOT history on that one, and it was pretty good. The only worrying thing on the most recent one, although it was a pass, was that one of the wheels was slightly deformed. But you can get those alloys on eBay for 60 quid a go.
I was going to say you'll be finding a.
That would not worry me at all. No. We can get another one of those.
No, not to. And looking at that as well, that's Dorset. So
Dorset, yes,
that's fine.
In fact, that one's available for delivery for up to 50 miles. So even having it delivered wouldn't be too bad. But we could have a day trip to Dorset to get that. That wouldn't be.
That's fine. Don't mind that.
Yeah, indeed. So yes, that one was a bit more money, but that one was very interesting purely on the fact that I think it's quite rare because of the amount of kit on it.
That's fully loaded.
You just don't see that.
No.
As I say, it's even got parking sensors, which I didn't even think were an option on the Mark 1 Focus.
Whoever not something that's
bought that new spent a fortune on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really need them on a car that size, but there we go.
Probably the world's first 40 grand Focus. Anyway.
But no, very nice. Yeah.
A few options there. That is quite tempting. Almost as an investment car. So, buy it and run it for now and then tuck it away. Because I think those could really go somewhere.
Yeah, that could go, couldn't it?
Yeah. I think so. I think it might well. So that is tempting.
Mm-hmm. Where are we going from here?
We're going from here. We're staying with Ford, and we're looking at the Mark III Mondeo.
Okay.
Now, this is a car we've mentioned before, specifically in its ST220 guise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are some ST220s within budget, but they're not great, if I'm honest.
They're a bit ropey.
Yeah. Bit ropey or have been quite badly pimpled.
Right. So just to clarify, so Mark III.
Mark III Mondeo. So the one that came after the big headlight one. So this would have been let me get my facts straight here. So
Yeah,
Mark
because
III Mondeo.
they made this quite convoluted, because I'm right in thinking that there have been several marks, but then they don't necessarily match the generation number either.
No, they don't. And the first two Mondeos tend to get rolled into one, because although they were cosmetically different,
They were actually
pretty much the same underneath. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it tends to be. So Mark 1 and 2 were the first generation. The Mark 3 was the second generation, just to make
that's right.
harder than it needs to be.
Harder than it needs to be. We're talking 2000 to 2007, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, because like you said, the second generation had the bigger bulbous headlights, whereas the Mark III was more angular.
It was more angular. Well, it was the new edge design that they'd started by that point, because they had already then had the Focus.
That's right. Yeah.
The rest of the range. So whereas the previous Mondeo was tail end of the Escort and that design. Right. So it had the big oval grille, the big bulbous headlights, the more rounded jelly mold like design.
That's
more
it.
akin to the old Sierra.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And
whereas the Mark III was more akin to the Focus.
That's it. And I tend to come at it from a motorsport angle. So
of course you do.
It's the Mondeo that never went touring car racing.
Okay, right, fine. Yes, if you say so.
That helps. That helps me.
That helps you enormously.
Yeah.
Now, let me get a few on the go here. The ST220, we'll start at the ST220 and work our way backwards. They tend to be rougher and higher mileage than models from the rest of the range, and more expensive, of course.
Yeah.
They are also more expensive to tax and insure, because Ford ST, so clearly.
Yep.
There were two flavors of ST in the Mondeo. There was
yes.
There was the ST220, which was the 3-litre V6 petrol.
Oh, and then there's the awful one, isn't there?
The 155, which was the 2-litre turbo diesel ST.
TDCI.
Yes, where they kind of reduced ST to a trim level. Now, those are rarer, both in hatch and estate form. They are considerably cheaper.
I bet they are.
Yes, but there are a few around. But if you're going to go ST,
it's going to be 220 or not bother.
I think. Now, also in the Mark III Mondeo, obviously they didn't just do the ST220. There are quite a lot of high spec but non-performance ones around. You can get, and I've seen numerous of these, both in diesel and petrol form. You can even get Gear X models, which was the absolute top of the range trim-wise, for less than £1,000 now, 800-900 quid, and really tidy ones. I have to say, of all the cars I've looked at for this, the best value by far would be a Mark III Mondeo non-ST version. They are, I'm looking at three right now at the top of the list that I haven't even filtered or sorted. I've just said, gone on Auto Trader, Ford Mondeo, 2000 to 2007, less than £2,000, and the top 3 are all Gear X models, and they're all less than £1,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's a reasonable amount of car
incredible value. It is incredible value. And the Gear X, as I said, that's top of the range. That's leather interior, heated and cooled seats, CD changer, alloy wheels, climate control. Everything you'd want.
Yep, can't knock back at all, can you?
55, 56 plate cars, less than, in some cases, less than 100,000 miles, but the sort of average seems to be about 120, 130,000 miles, in both 2-litre petrol and TDCI diesel form. We're talking hatchback, not the estate, although there are some estates around for about that sort of budget as well. The estates seem to be a little bit harder used, which you'd probably expect.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, as an example, let me send you one here. Value for money wise, not the most exciting car in the world, although, and I know because I've driven some Mark III Mondeos in the dim and distant past, they are really nice to drive. I mean, really nice to drive. And they have all Fords from this era had a kind of solid feel that they never had before. They really upped their game in this era. And
that looks really quite pleasant, doesn't it?
Oh, it really does, doesn't it?
That's fine.
Less than £1,000 for all of. I mean, you cannot argue with that.
No,
yeah. As Mr. Clarkson used to say, do not underestimate the value from a car with a rubbish badge. And that has. I mean, look at it. It's got everything on it.
That would serve you well.
£1,000. It really would. It really would. In terms of value for money, I don't think you could argue with a Mark III Mondeo. I really don't. And there's loads of gears and Gear X's, which of course haven't been hammered like a lot of the STs have. Finding an original ST, ST220 particularly, is really difficult.
Yeah, they'll have been ruined.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? And the trouble with an ST is you're always wondering, has this been through a hedge at some point in its life?
There's a good chance it might have been, yes.
Yeah.
But
there's a certain, shall we say, type of person that will have bought those new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. I'm there. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yes, we'll
So as a sort of standout point in our list in terms of value for money, Mark III Mondeo, I think is tough to beat. I really do. I don't think it'll go up in value like the Mark I Focus.
No, that's fair.
I don't think it's such an investment piece, but
it would be a trusty steed.
It really would, wouldn't it? It really would. And there are some estates around in budget as well. The hatch is far more plentiful. The saloon is very rare, but I wouldn't want the saloon.
No, that's fair.
I'd want the hatch or the estate. But of course, the hatch is a proper hatchback. Boot lid goes down to the bumper and back seats go down. I mean, it's still an incredibly practical car, even though it's not the estate.
Yeah, it's properly spacious still, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So, as I say, as a standout point of value for money, Mark III Mondeo is very, very tempting. So, now moving on from Ford and then moving into some more unusual stuff which we actually haven't discussed before. Stuff that I've looked at, but I have to go to my happy place a little bit. So we have to discuss Jaguar.
So what model are we talking?
Well, if we were going purely on budget, we'd be looking at X-types, but I've been there before and I don't want something I've had before.
You have somewhat been overruled on this as well.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. It's been banned by everyone I know.
But most importantly, because it's banned by the lady who is in your house.
Yes, well, she went through the last period of X-Type ownership with me, and it wasn't the happiest time. It wasn't the easiest. Wasn't the easiest motoring experience we've ever achieved. No.
Right. Okay. So we're drawing a line
Felt
through
a bit. It did.
It did. Yeah. Right. So
Which is a shame because I really, really liked it, and I was so disappointed.
Yes, but that's it. It's tainted now, isn't it?
It is. So we are really, realistically, we're looking at S-Type or probably too old to be a reasonable consideration XJ.
Yes,
If you do you like where I put that?
Yeah, that's not a sensible pet. You can't daily that, you lunatic.
No, really can't. No, no. I think an XJ in this price bracket is not going to work for anyone.
No.
An S-Type, however, maybe more so. Not the R, clearly.
No.
Part of me thinks, do I really want an S-Type at all if it's not the R? But the V6, I don't want the diesel.
Fair.
But the 2.5 or 3 litre V6 petrol, which is a Ford-derived engine, so pretty solid, in an S-Type with a decent trim level, maybe.
So what are we talking budget-wise? Is that there or thereabouts, or is it?
Yes, they are available for there or thereabouts. They are not. No, I suppose not. Well, I mean, there is quite a few of them around, but a lot of them have issues. But that's also true of some of the other things we've looked at.
Yeah.
So let me. There was one here which gave me pause. Let me furnish you with another link. Now, this is quite a late car, so we're looking at 56 plate.
Okay, yeah.
So the last of the facelifts.
Yep, here we are. There we are. Right, let's.
Tidy. The grill's the wrong color, which is a bit of a weird issue, but again, that could be fixed with a bit of eBay work. It's a black car with a blue grill surround, which is strange.
That is weird, yeah.
But that wouldn't have had a mesh grill because the mesh grill was only ever factory fit on the R.
Okay, so
that should have a slat grill.
Right, so someone's had a fiddle here, haven't they?
They have, and they've got the wrong color, which is just bizarre. But anyway, that's an easy fix. That's cosmetic. Few screws, and that'll be off. So that's not an issue. It has two issues that it mentions. The near side rear door won't open, which is actually quite a common fault on the S-Type, and would not prevent you using the vehicle, actually.
No.
And it has an intermittent ABS fault by the look of it.
I mean, that could be something as simple as a sensor.
Yes, it could. That could be fixed for 25 quid or not. But again, at that price point, it's the 3 litre V6 Sport, which is the one you would want if you're not having the R. It's in very good cosmetic condition.
It is. So I'm at the point of saying, well, if you don't have it, I might.
Really?
Yeah, I like that.
It is nice, isn't it?
Like that. I like it in the dark colour. I like the I like that.
That is quite nice. The only thing that doesn't have that it would be nice to have in a Jag is heated seats.
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose that is quite a strange omission, but
it is right. Actually. I don't know why that wouldn't be there, but
if you know it's going to be a cold morning, tin of beans the night before, it's in warm seat up.
Oh, it's lovely that. Dirty.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about
it.
But still, lovely.
Lovely that, isn't it? Yeah, lovely that. That's a lot of car for 1,600 quid.
Not a problem with that whatsoever.
No, so there's I wouldn't say they're plentiful, but there are a few like that around.
You have to keep your eye on that lot.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you really do. But
Okay.
there are a few. Yes, I would consider an S-Type. That would be more of a heart decision than a head decision.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So, okay.
But there are quite a few at the right price point with the 2.7 turbo diesel.
But like you say, you don't really
Um,
want that.
I don't really want a diesel Jag.
But
No.
again, bit of racing for me. They did enter a diesel S-Type into the Nürburgring 24-hour.
Really?
Yeah,
That one's passed me by.
yeah.
Right. So
That's in Jaguar heritage.
wow. So the diesel actually has some racing heritage.
A little bit, yeah.
Wow. There you go. How about that?
No,
You
there you
learn
go.
something every day, don't you?
Yeah, I'm all. I can bore you with crappy motorsport.
It's your thing, isn't it? Yes, it's your thing.
So that's
Oh,
all right. So go on
if
then. So what?
if you bought an S-Type after I'd gone and bought an old Volvo, we might have some issues.
Yeah, that would be a bit odd doing it that way round, wouldn't it?
We would have bought each other's cars. That would just be weird.
Yeah, that.
There's going to be some borrowing there.
Yeah, that would be odd. Here you go. I'll send you this now, so you've got the little article to read later.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I won't do that now, but I'll look at that later. Yes, excellent. Well, any history I can gain on the S-Type. Yes, I do have a bit of a thing for S-Types, as we have established before. But yeah, the V8R is out. In fact, any of the V8s really are out.
Yeah, that's not in budget.
No, it's not, and is going to be quite pricey to run. However, the V6, which is still a very nice engine,
Still going to be smooth, lovely,
very smooth, lovely. In fact, arguably more reliable than the V8. Because the V8 was a Jaguar engine, whereas the V6 was a widely used Ford engine. So, although on my X-Type, it was all the Ford bits that broke.
Well, okay, so swings and roundabouts here.
Everything that fell off did not have a Jaguar badge on it. So,
right, that's worth noting.
Who knows?
But,
However, let's not get into the whole how much X-Type was Ford thing, because we'll be here all night.
But I suppose you could argue, yes, they were Ford bits that fell off, but it was someone at Jaguar who spannered them on.
Yes, you could go either way with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's dangerous territory. Yeah.
Who knows what really goes on there? However, the S-Type is not the X-Type. It's a very different thing.
Yeah, that's fine. So, are we sticking with Jag or are we switching it up again?
No, we're moving on now. That was the only Jag really that is a sensible prospect within budget.
Yes.
Is an S-Type. I could show you some XJs within budget, but it's not a pretty sight.
Yeah, don't do. Yeah, that could end in tears.
Broken. So no, we're moving on from Jaguar now. Now there are 3 cars here that I have considered that I don't know a great deal about.
Okay.
But that I sort of came across and thought it could work. The next manufacturer, and there are 2 models from this manufacturer, is Saab.
Go on then.
And I've been having a look at some 9.3s and some 9.5s.
It's an interesting choice.
Now, the only things that and that you can get some really high spec models for not a lot of Wonga in both models, but the only thing that makes me concerned about buying a car from a dead manufacturer is, although Saab obviously was part of General Motors and the 9.3 and the 9.5 were based on Vauxhalls,
well, that's it.
They were in the end only kind of loosely based. Saab changed a lot.
That's it. Yeah. Well, the platform is vaguely similar. The parts are not necessarily the same.
This is the problem. And I was watching a review the other evening of a 9.5, and yes, the chap giving the review was saying, "Oh, mechanical bits, not so bad, but certainly, trim bits and like the radio and things like that. I mean, good luck trying to find them. They just don't exist anymore."
Right. Okay.
And that was my only concern. It's based on a GM product, and I've never been a Vauxhall person.
That's fair.
And yeah, the rest of it that wasn't GM, what are you going to do? Because I'm not aware that anybody has picked up and carried on with Saab. Well, I know a couple of people have tried, but it hasn't gone.
It's not gone brilliantly. We've touched on that.
Not gone great, has it? No, indeed. So you're really at the mercy of scrapyards, and unless you're a real Saab enthusiast, I don't know. I worry about that. That you're going to take it somewhere, and they're just going to say, "Well, we can't. We can't get the parts."
Yes, we can't do that. No, that's a fair concern, I suppose.
Or something, even something stupid like the radio packs up or something, and you just can't get one.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you can put another one in, but I am a great believer in originality.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even at this budget, and I know this is only a stopgap, and I have to keep reminding myself that this isn't some cosseted classic that we're going to keep forever, possibly. But even so, I still have a certain standard to me.
Yeah, you don't want to be driving around an absolute turd, do you?
No, I don't. I would be most unhappy. Yeah, so there are a few around, even locally. There's some 9.3s and 9.5s about. Let me just see if I can.
Yeah, chuck some at me, because like you, I don't really know much about them. I drove a 9.5 for about a 5-mile round trip.
Okay.
And it was honestly utterly forgettable.
Yeah, I know. I don't know many more. I used to know someone who had a 9.5 estate, which is interesting. What I'm just going to send you a link to.
Yeah, that's what I drove. I was the company I was working for at the time. My car was off, having some new tires put on it, and I needed to nip out to get some lunch. So I grabbed the keys to a car in the car park, and it was that.
It was the Saab, yeah.
Yes,
they had a reputation for being super safe, didn't they? But
the one I drove was actually the next one on from this.
Oh, okay.
So no, I can't pass comment on this particular one. In fact, I prefer the styling of this one. The one that followed it was a bit.
It's quite an attractive car. Yeah. I'll give it that. It's very classically Saab. For the listener, we're looking at a 54 plate 9.5 estate.
Yeah, that looks all right, doesn't it?
In a very, very dark blue with a tan interior.
Yeah, that'll do.
And this is very local to us.
It's a beautiful interior touch that I've just spotted. It really pleases me. They've got, like you said, they've got quite the bespoke stereo system.
Yes, they have.
And what they've done there is they've thought, I need to put my mobile phone in this car.
Yes.
So they have jammed the magnetic mobile phone holder into the cassette slot.
So they have. I've only just noticed that myself. Yes, that is. Yes. That's never come out.
That's not. I mean, in fairness, you're probably never going to put a tape in it, but it's just
of everything on that dashboard. If there's a slot you're not going to use, that is it. However,
excellent repurposing.
Excellent repurposing. That's actually probably a really good place for your phone because it's going to be about the right height and everything.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I'm all for that. Well done, them.
Yes, top marks for that. Yes,
I'd be very interested if you went for something like that. Actually, I think that would be a car that's not boring.
No, I don't think it would be. You don't see them,
but like you say, particularly of that generation, it's going to be a parts issue, isn't it?
If it goes wrong.
Yeah, if it's not got a GM badge on it, you're buggered.
I would be really concerned about that, and you could end up the car being written off for something really stupid.
I mean, there's bound to be specialists, but
yeah, well, I've heard that when Saab first went belly up, there were rumours of companies buying up the parts, and they were going to do like Rimmer Brothers do for Rover, and they were going to keep it all going. But from the little bit of research I've done, none of that seems to. Well, if it did happen, it isn't still happening.
It's going to be it's not going to be a huge market, is it?
And a couple of the used car dealers that I follow on YouTube, they've put out videos where they've bought or taken in part exchange Saabs and they're saying, "Oh yeah, Vauxhall dealers can get us these bits, but they can't get these." And because Saab changed so much from the platforms they were given, there's so much bespoke stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean,
it does make you worry for a car that, this isn't a classic to tuck away. This is to use every day, and if you can't get some stupid little bit, it's going to be really annoying.
If you need to have something mended on it, you don't need it to be a headache.
No, quite. Well, the garage says, "Well, yeah, we can fix this, but we're going to have to order the part. It's going to be 6 weeks. It's got to come from China or whatever." And you just don't need that kind of hassle, do you?
So the 9.3 and the 9.5 are very outside chance.
Yeah, I think they probably are. I think they would be lovely. And I think if I had one, I would love it and I would defend it, and it would be that I could see myself really getting into that. But
yeah, it's almost
buying a car from a dead manufacturer.
It's kind of an honourable mention at this stage, really, isn't it?
It sort of is. It would be a bit like buying an MG ZT or something like that. Although that's probably better catered for.
Oh yeah, you'd be fine for bits for that, but don't.
But let's not.
That's not going to be a sensible choice.
No, it's not. No, that is not on the list. I would just say.
Okay.
That's not one of the vehicles we were going to be discussing. But so this was one I spotted. It's very local to us.
It is indeed. Yeah.
Well within budget, very low mileage. Looks like it's been really well cared for. In fact, the way the advert reads, I'd say he's a bit of an enthusiast.
Possibly reluctant sale.
The fact that the first line of the advert is that he has the original brochure.
I like that.
That tells me it's an enthusiast.
Yes. That's fair play. Fair play. I like that.
Of all the things to mention,
I've got
a brochure.
Oh, good. He might be an interesting chap, mightn't he?
Good, except it's a woman, actually. It is, yeah.
I apologise. I stereotyped there, didn't I?
One lady owner.
Okay.
Well. Yeah. And I'd say not a family car because they comment the rear passenger seats have hardly been used.
No, that's true. Yeah. Well, very good. I approve. I mean, even if you don't buy it, let's go and have a look.
Yeah. Let's whisk down the road. Let's have a morning out and go and have a look at that.
Just have a little look.
Have a little drive of that. Yeah. No, that's the fear. I think if I was to sit in that and drive it, I'd end up buying it. That's the problem.
Shit. Yeah. No, careful.
It's too good, isn't it? That's the problem. As itself, it's too good.
Yeah.
My fear would be what would happen down the line.
Yeah, that's the ongoing prospect. All right then. All right. Let's step away from Saab. Where are we going? What are we doing?
Step away from Saab. We are now looking at something that only came to me this week, actually. Subaru.
Right.
And either a Legacy or a Forester. We're not talking Impreza here.
No, we're not.
No.
Right. Okay. So first off, the one thing we need to get out of the way swiftly, if you're going Legacy and that sort of budget, don't buy diesel.
Right. Interesting.
All they do is they get to the sort of 90, 100,000 miles mark and go bang.
Really?
Yeah, that's not good. Don't do it.
All done. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this was not one that got me terribly excited, I must admit. I was attracted to it by the sort of reputation for reliability and ruggedness.
Okay. I might have just spoiled that.
You may have just ruined that. There are not many within budget, to be fair. Although the one I was looking at is a petrol.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Let me fire you a link.
Yeah, let's have a look at it.
Yeah. Oh no, tell a lie. That's not the one. It's that one. I almost picked out a saloon, which from the front looks exactly the same. We are looking here at a 56 plate Subaru Legacy Sports Tourer, all-wheel drive, 2-litre petrol.
I'm skimming as we speak.
You skim away there, chap. That actually looked really quite tidy.
It does indeed. That does actually look quite nice. Yes,
it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, that doesn't look too shabby at all. I do hate it when they just throw in stupid advert images going, no one cares here. No one cares.
Yeah. There's a few stupid phrases in the advert. Like, ideal family estate car. Yes, thank you.
Yes, I'm aware that things and people can go in the back. Do shut up.
Yes, thank you so much for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't get me. It doesn't get me excited like some of the others that we've mentioned are.
No, I
But
think that's more for me than you.
I think it might be actually. I think
Yeah.
we're in the territory of buying each other's cars there. Yes. Yes. I'll
Yeah,
buy that and we'll do a swap.
yeah, yeah. That's
You have that. I'll have the Volvo. Yes.
Yeah, that's wasted on you. You're not allowed that.
Oh, no, waste. Oh, thank you so much.
That's all right.
Back to your Jag.
Oh dear.
Back to your
But
slightly
no,
wonky S type.
but that's a good find. I like that. That is.
It is quite a good find, actually. I was quite pleased with myself because there aren't many of those around.
No, the popularity of those had kind of dwindles because the 90s Subarus were everywhere.
Yeah, they
Even
were.
even the non-rally ones were just everywhere. But
Well, didn't they pull? Well, they didn't pull out of the UK as such, but didn't they close a lot of their dealers?
Yeah, certainly scaled back, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
Because people you just can't buy them.
Mm.
Again, parts availability might be a concern.
I mean,
I don't know really. I
them.
don't know so much about them.
No, it's going to be probably a bit more of a struggle, but yeah, you'd probably be all right. But
yeah,
I think that's more honourable mention for your list.
Yes, fair dues. Yes, it probably is. Yeah, I had more of my head on than any other bodily part when I was looking at that. I thought, it does tick a lot of boxes, but it doesn't really do it for me like some of the others do.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean,
I couldn't see myself getting particularly passionate about that. It's
but yeah, it's all right. It's one of those things, and you go, well, actually, yeah, it's quite a fun thing, possibly bit interesting, bit different,
different, certainly. Yeah,
but like you say, I think there are the better choices for your money, and
or me at this point.
Yeah, and I think
so.
the one that you've picked there is fine. And going for the petrol is a bit more acceptable, especially like I said with the diesel boxer engines destroying themselves. While I've heard that Subaru never strictly admitted the issue, but in certain cases have quietly, free of charge, replaced engines.
Really?
So, yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's yeah. And
Right.
I think the same engine got slung in Foresters, I do believe. So do be mindful.
Yes, no, fair enough. No, that's yes. And I would like to bet most Foresters are diesel.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you?
I would certainly think so, yes.
Yes.
But I will just have a very quick look actually. Just to just refresh my memory.
Yeah, did you save any particular links of ones that you liked?
Yeah, I'm just bringing them up now. Yeah, I mean there are some in budget. They tend to be a little bit older. Yes, apart from one, which is considerably newer and makes me worried.
Oh, that would have blown up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what's happened there.
There's a 2001 and there's a 2004, and then all of a sudden we've got a 2010 at about the same price as the other two. You think,
that may have had a problem in its life at some point.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. However, let me. In fact, I've just noticed something about that one. So
while you're finding that,
that one has no MOT. Yes,
that one of
there we go.
Subaru's larger vehicles, which I don't believe we ever got here, or if we did, it was under a different brand name.
Yeah.
Had one of the best names for a car. One of their bigger sort of proper 4x4 Jeep type affairs. It was the Subaru Bighorn.
Of course it was.
So
Lovely. Oh yeah, let's have one of those.
Yeah, so
Yes.
if we can import you a Bighorn, then that's
All done then, aren't we?
yeah,
Yes.
I'm a very happy boy if you're driving
That's all
around
we
in that.
need then. Yes. So what are you driving these days? Oh, I've got
Ah,
a I've
got a Bighorn.
got a big one.
No, what are you driving?
Oh my word.
Um,
Yes.
that's not what I was expecting. It's just yeah, like you say, mm,
Yeah, no.
it's quite boring, that isn't it?
It's extremely boring.
Um,
Yes.
I
I'm
think we
not
should move on rapidly.
I'm not gonna buy that.
No, I'm not even saying that's honourable mention.
No, that's just a mistake, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's worth noting. I'll give you that. There you go.
I'd rather have the legacy. If I have to have a Subaru,
Yes, by
I'm having that legacy.
yes, by some considerable margin. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Right, got any left?
One.
One. Go on then.
And this was a fleeting thought. I have considered them at one point in the past, and it's a very different thing.
Go on then.
A Golf GTI.
All right. What mark would that be for your budget?
Well, let's see here. Now, I'm going to have to look up what the different marks were. One moment here.
Okay. Because there was a tipping point where you could get it really correct or really wrong. Because I'm sure you either went to look at one, maybe even test drove one.
I did test drive one. It was a Mark 5. We are looking here at the Mark 4.
Ah, you see, now you've said Mark 4, and I said to you, you're going to get it really right or either wrong. That is wrong.
Right. In that case, because that's what they predominantly are for this
that budget.
Yes.
I mean, you can get one. I mean, they just look drab, but I mean, you can get the 1.8 turbo engine. Fine, that's the one you want. But they just look tedious.
Yeah, they do. And this was the reason I didn't go for a dealer was a slimy thing, but the car itself put me to sleep. In fact, that was the car I was test driving when I decided to buy a Jag.
Okay, that was it. I remember that story.
It was so awful. We passed the Jag going the other way. Oh,
I'll have that instead. Did you have a manual or a dog shit gearbox?
It was a manual, but it was a GT, not a GTI.
Okay.
Because he didn't have a GTI. It was a GT diesel.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, that didn't help its cause.
It was a sea of black, cheap, nasty plastic inside. Grotty little man in the back seat, although I presume that didn't come with it.
Oh, you pay extra to make sure that little knobhead wasn't in there.
Yes, I would. There are some Mark V GTIs and GTs within budget, few, but they tend to be very high mileage and have been fiddled with. The problem there is the same issue with a lot of the Ford STs.
Yes, yeah, that you are prime for a fiddle.
Yes, indeed. So there are some ordinary Golfs within budget, but no.
No, I'll be honest. I don't see you as a Golf man.
No, I'm not. I'm not a VW man.
No, that's fair. And again, I think that qualifies as an honourable mention.
I think so,
but I don't think you should buy that. That's not for you.
No, I'm inclined to agree. I don't get the fizz with that.
That's fine.
To quote a James May concept.
Okay, right. So we've exhausted your list.
That's my list. Do you have any suggestions?
You really have been quite thorough, but I do have one suggestion.
I like to think so. Yeah, okay.
I do have one suggestion, and I while we've been talking, I've been waiting for you to actually say the car, and you didn't. So
and I haven't.
You haven't. So I've got you an advert.
Oh, right. Well, let's check this bad boy out then. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Now, Yes, it's not on the list, but it is a car that's crossed my mind.
Okay.
For the listener, we are looking at a Mazda 6.
There you go.
Which, of course, also comes from the Ford stable. Dawn pointed this out to me the other day. She said, "You're only considering Ford Group cars." And I thought, oh, blimey, I am actually. That's not intentional.
Well,
but
we
I am.
Yeah. Everyone
Now,
forgets about a Mazda 6.
yeah, they do, don't they?
Mm.
You do forget about the Mazda 6. You're right. It crossed my mind the other day, and I thought, oh, yeah, I should have a look for those, but I never did. It wasn't a strong enough thought for me to actually do it. That's very nice, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite pleasant, that one.
It is.
And there was,
I
mean, I had a quick skim while we've been talking, and there seemed to be a reasonable amount out there.
Well, there probably will be, won't there? Yeah.
I happened to pick that one because it was an estate.
Yes, obviously we prioritise the estates, don't we? But that is nice. There is only one problem with it.
Go on then. Location?
No, not problem with that particular one.
Okay.
Problem with all of them.
Okay.
I have a what's the best way to put this? I have a bad association with the Mazda 6. One featured in a particularly turbulent time in my life.
Right. Okay.
Let's put it like that. I've never owned one, but it would, yeah, exactly that model as well, the 06. Yeah, it's not the car's fault. It would, just being in that would conjure up memories that I don't want. So I would not have a Mazda 6.
Random reasons for not having a car. Good God.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's a no for a strange reason, but I'll accept it because
it's a no for a strange reason, and it's nothing to do with the car. I'd be clear about that. I think they're really good.
Okay, so everyone else should buy a Mazda 6. If you're
Yes,
not buying a Mark 1 Focus, you're going to go and buy a Mazda 6. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Go and buy a Mazda 6. Leave all the Focuses and Mondeos to me.
Okay. So
it's a solid choice, though. I have to say, it's a solid choice. I respect you bringing that up, but I was okay with it until I came past the photo of the interior, and
flooding back
all the memories, and no, I just couldn't do it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll let you off. That's all right. So, right, let's review the list. When I say review, I'm going to pick the one you should buy.
You did this last time.
Yeah. Well, ordinarily, I would say to everyone, yeah, just go and buy a Volvo. Because
you would, yes.
It's kind of default response. Yeah. However, we've summarized one of our previous episodes. I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before. With a very top tip. Just go and buy a Mark 1 Focus. don't dither about. This is your opportunity to not only get your stopgap car, but potentially earn a few quid. Go and buy a Mark 1 Focus.
Yeah, that is quite solid advice, isn't it?
You're going to have a good, solid car to use. They're brilliant to drive. We've all driven them. We love them.
They are brilliant to drive. That was one of their strongest points. Yeah, absolutely. The motoring press went absolutely wild for that when it was launched. Yeah.
It can only go up. It's just...
I agree. And a lot of, knowledgeable people are saying that at the moment, that the Mark 1 Focus is the next one that's gonna just explode price wise. Yeah.
That's it. And it's just the fact that you're, as well, like you said right at the beginning, you're a Ford chap. So
yes, I am. Always had a soft spot for the blue oval. Yeah.
Not only is it the obvious choice, it's the best choice in the list. It's the most value for money, and
even above the Mondeo.
I think short-term Mondeo, long-term Focus.
Yes, I think the Focus is going to cost a little bit more money.
Not a lot.
No, not a lot more.
And if you can,
a few £100 more,
keep it looked after, you've you're going to earn off that.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm looking at that one over in Dorset, that absolutely top spec one.
That's it. And you think, well, that's great. And if you've got anything massive to move, well, we'll just bring the Volvo around. So don't worry about it.
I'll just give you a ring. Yeah, and you're over here with your big hole in the back.
Steady. Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, just do that.
Mark 1 Focus. That's strange. I didn't think you were going to say that. I thought you were going to say, go and get that that green V40 that's in Bristol. I thought that's what you were going to say. Interesting.
No, it's not. Out of all the Volvos, I'd be tempted to buy the 300 quid one.
Oh, what, and have a punt?
Yes.
Because it doesn't sound like there's that much wrong with it.
No.
Okay, no, but you're not saying that, and you're not saying S-Type. You're saying Mark 1 Focus.
I'm saying Mark 1 Focus. Yeah.
I'm saying, as you say, of all the cars we've listed, that is the one most likely to go up in value and become a modern classic. It was the first of its kind, wasn't it? Really.
That's it. I think it's probably, without trying too hard, the best driving experience on the list.
Yes, it probably is, actually, isn't it? Yes, it probably is. Yeah, they were incredibly sharp to drive. It was the independent rear suspension and everything that they put in it. It was such a different thing.
Nice car to drive. Yeah, just do that.
Just go and have a Mark 1 Focus. Yeah.
I don't know how many more episodes we need to summarise with just go and buy a Mark 1
Mark 1 Focus. We have ended with that about 6 times.
So now,
we've got to do it.
Yes, you've got the opportunity to, and I'm just going to keep saying it. Even I'm going to re-record the sign-off as just that. I'll just chuck it on the end of everything.
Thank you very much for listening. Go and buy Mark 1 Focus. Yes.
Right, there you go. Say no more. That I suggest you buy one this week, and we'll hear no more about it.
We'll end these ridiculous episodes. Yes.
All the speculation. We know the answer. We've clarified. Stop dithering.
Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.